Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us live if you're here. If not, you've maybe got it on replay. So my name is Julie Cluley, and my company is called Helps You Help Your Dog. And with me today is Kate Atkins of Kate's Canines. And we're just going to have a conversation. We're on day 5, and we're going to have a little conversation about how Kate got into dog listening, and a little bit about her pack, and then we shall take it from there. I think we're kind of thinking we might go into a little bit of separation anxiety as well, if that's going to be helpful for anyone. All right, so Kate, yeah.
Hello.
Hi
everybody. So I got into dog listening only about a year and a half ago. Well, it was about 2 years ago I kind of started the process, but the whole thing kind of came about because I was in a job that I just really wasn't happy in, very stressed, in a leadership role, and it was very stressful, and I wanted to get out. I wanted to change my whole life, and I read Jan Fennell's book about 6-7 years ago, while I was on holiday actually, and really resonated with me. And when I was thinking about changing career, I've always wanted to work with dogs, so I kind of went back and revisited Jan's book, and I looked at lots of other methods as well, but there was something that really drew me to Jan's method. It just made sense for me. And while I was doing that, I booked onto the foundation course, and my parents, I was visiting my parents, and my mum and dad's 2 dogs. My dad took them out for a walk, and there was a dead pheasant, and one of their dogs, Bailey, decided that he's a golden retriever, not that breed matters, but he was really focused on this dead pheasant, and he went over to get it, and my dad didn't want him to eat it, so he ran over and grabbed Bailey by the collar. Bailey turned around and bit him, like, really badly, where he drew blood. My dad straight away recognized that wasn't Bailey's fault, it was my fault, my error, that, you know, I shouldn't have done that. Instinctively he knew that, without knowing anything to do with dog listening. He'd never read the book or anything. He said, look, that's not my fault. And at that point we were then really worried. We then had a dangerous dog. So because I was booked onto the foundation course, and because both me and my mum were quite interested in dog listening, we decided to get a dog listener in, called Sue, and she came and she taught my mum and dad, and myself actually. So it was really lovely to kind of watch that consultation and be part of that. And we saw results pretty much instantly with both dogs, and even though we were ringing about one dog, we realized that the other dog also had a lot of issues. So I went and did the foundation course. I actually took voluntary redundancy from my position and set up my business, Kate's Canines. And I do walking, boarding, and also I do dog listening as well. And I have a dog called Teddy. I've had him since a puppy, and he is an alpha male. He tries to be an alpha male. I naively thought, getting a dog from a puppy, is going to be great. I'm going to do everything right from day one. But due to his personality, he questions me all the time. He's very intelligent, and he questions me all the time about things. And I give him the right answers, and then it'll settle for a few days. Or if something changes, like this morning, we were saying, weren't we, Julie, that the routine this morning had changed, and therefore Teddy just started questioning me a lot. So before we came on this call, we had to do a few isolations, and now he's gone to lay down, which is really good.
Which is lovely. I love to see how, like with Teddy this morning, it's just classic, isn't it, that as soon as we feel slightly nervous or slightly worried, and things are different, and soon there's a change, our dogs will immediately pick up on it. They're just so sensitive.
And you're like, why now? I'm
Yeah.
about to go live on Facebook.
Yeah. Why is this happening?
And he's like, what's going on? This doesn't normally happen. So yeah, he's gone and laid down now. But yeah, I think I isolated him about 3 times, didn't I?
Yeah, which is really, really powerful. So just for anybody out there who is kind of new to all of this and doesn't really know what we're talking about when we say asking questions, what do you mean by that when like your dog's asking you a question? What does that look like?
So him asking questions is basically saying to me, who's in charge, who's got the responsibility, what's happening in this situation, do I need to do anything, do I need to step up, are you okay to be in charge, and all of those questions. I'm in a very calm way, in a very silent way as well. When I was isolating him, I didn't get angry. I didn't get frustrated. I just literally very calmly, very quietly isolated him until he got that message, and that was answering his questions in a way that he understands. So yeah, it was just saying, no, you don't need to take responsibility. You don't need to worry about me. Just let me deal with it. And the answer has resulted in a calm dog. And he's gone and relaxed, which is really nice to see that we've had that communication with each other. And sometimes those questions can look like trying to get attention. So he was going around, he was pulling on things he knows that I don't like, but he knows that actually it gets my attention, gets me to move. Or like some dogs will bark excessively for your attention. So some dogs will start jumping up at you. It's all these different undesirable behaviors that we commonly see are dogs asking us questions. And if we don't give them the right answer, that's when they go, right, okay, I've got that responsibility over you, and that's putting stress and pressure on them. And in a world that they just don't understand, they just can't handle it, and that stress, then it's like a vicious cycle. It gets worse and worse and worse, until we see some of these awful cases that we have to deal with sometimes.
I really love that when you say, like, essentially an undesirable behavior is actually your dog asking a question. It's
Yeah,
not really undesirable behavior. It
yeah,
is to us because we're
yeah,
like, we're trying to do this and you're disturbing me or whatever. But it's actually, and when we turn it on its head and we start to see that undesirable behavior not as something that's really annoying, but actually as a guide to being able to help them and
yeah,
being able to show them something new, something different. And one thing that just I noticed when you were isolating Teddy this morning, it was literally, when we say isolating or time out or giving them a break, giving them a chance to think, it's all the same thing. It's just opening the door, letting them, putting the dog out of the door for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We're not talking about isolating a dog for an hour. We're talking about giving them a break for 10 seconds. So it's breaking the behavior and giving them a chance to think, do I want to do that again? Or do I just want to relax?
Yeah, and how do I get back to the pack,
Yeah, how do I get back to the pack? How do I get back to my default state of relaxed and responsive?
Yeah.
So I talk about in my programs about relaxed and responsive is your dog's default state. That's how they are before we get involved and start wanting to do Zoom lives and take them out for a walk or whatever it is we want to do with whatever it is we want to do. They are completely, there's nothing to do. It's amazing. So
Definitely.
every last one of them is so beautifully chilled and relaxed until we, as their human owner, go, oh, but I want them to do this and I want them to do that and I want them to go here and I want them to go there. And quite often we want them to do it all at once.
Yeah, and it's because we want them to do it, and you need to listen to your dog, and are they ready for it? And sometimes some dogs are never ready for stuff that we want them to do. I've got some owners that really would like to take their dog to the pub after a walk, and I just can't ever see that dog in that position where they'd feel comfortable doing it. It might go in and do it, but would it feel happy and comfortable being in that situation? Probably not. So should we do it with the dog? You know, it's that kind of
and
dilemma.
And it's again using the dog as a guide and saying, okay, well, that's ultimately what your client wants, and it's not to say that we can't see it happening right now, but it's not to say if they continue working with their dog and living with their dog and listening to their dog, that their dog might get to the point where they trust them enough to relax in the pub. But as soon as we put that end goal on, we've lost it. Because that we're thinking about that and not what's happening right in front of us, right there and then. And it's the right there and then.
I'm always talking about that, because when I first meet a client, I say, you know, what do you want from your dog? And that's the end goal, isn't it? You know, what do you want? And we try not to focus on that end goal. We try to focus on the little baby steps to get there and celebrate those, because those are big. Those little steps are big steps, and you know, big for the dog as well, and they should be celebrated. And I think a lot of owners just forget to celebrate those little wins that you have, and the dog understanding, and you communicated in the right way, and it's lovely. And I think we're just all, we're in this kind of mindset, we want everything now, don't we? We want everything now. And actually that's just not how a dog works. And that's why I think quite a lot of people become very rich off these kind of quick fixes, if you like, from in the shops, you know, so that don't necessarily work long term. So
it's taking the time. And to just kind of touch on the separation anxiety. What do you see around that? As Teddy, have you had first-hand experience with Teddy, or is it just through your clients, or how's the separation anxiety kind of showing up for you?
Teddy doesn't have separation anxiety, because I knew straight from day one, like what to do with him. So he doesn't. He's very relaxed when I go out. However, obviously recently I've had a lot of people with separation anxiety. And the reason why it happens is because their mindset, but they truly believe that their owners, they're responsible for them. And so what we often liken it to is them being in the parent, and actually the owners being the child. And if a 2-year-old was to like walk out of the front door and you were to lock all the doors and windows and you couldn't get to them, how would you feel? And that's how the dog feels. And when the dog feels like that, that you can see the very common kind of issues when a dog's left alone, such as howling, barking, destructive behavior such as chewing their own paws and pulling hair out as well, and toileting by the front door. And all of those behaviors are a result of them really truly believing that the child that they're responsible for has actually gone and they can't get to them. And the process is holistic. It's not something you can just do in isolation, but it's changing the dog's mindset, so they believe that they don't have the responsibility, and actually the owners, they are the leaders, and they can come and go as they please. And once that mindset shifts, then you can start to do something we call gesture leading, which is, depending on how severe the separation anxiety is, it might be that actually that gesture leaving starts with just picking up the keys, or just putting on your shoes, or just putting on your coat, whatever that trigger is for that dog, picking them up and then moving them somewhere else, or putting your shoes on but not going out and just kind of walking around and sitting down, waiting till your dog's relaxed, and then maybe just go out of the room and then come back in quickly. And it's about those little tiny steps. And I think what a lot of people do when they're trying to resolve and change the mindset of the dog is actually just go straight out the front door, whereas actually sometimes we just need to take a step back and listen to what your dog is telling you. Right, okay, I've picked up the keys, how are they reacting? Okay, we're not quite ready yet to put my shoes on, you know. And it's doing that step by step. And once you get to that point where actually they're relaxed when you pick the keys up, they're relaxed when I put my shoes on, they're relaxed when I put my coat on, they're relaxed when I go out the kitchen door and leave them in there, for example. Right, now we can maybe just try opening the front door and closing it but not going out, and gradually just building up that time, and listening to them and taking that step by step. And by no way is it a quick fix, and you have to really take it step by step, and a lot of dedication and kind of practice, if you like, is needed.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything about what you said is what we need to be doing. And I think, you know, what can help is to create these micro absences, you know, create these like opportunities to gesture leave. And, you know, for many people that can happen at home before even, you know, your dog might be the kind of dog that literally when you get up to go and make a cup of tea is going to follow you around.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as they do that, even just closing the door behind you, so that you're starting to create these absences, so that when you do go and leave the house, it's not a complete shock that, you know, they've been with you 24/7 and then all of a sudden you're going to go to work. They're like,
some of my clients say, oh, they follow me to the toilet even. I'm like, right, okay. So I always say, right, let's cut that by to 70. So say they were following around 100% of the time, let's cut it to 75%, 50%, 25%. Let's cut that kind of following, and don't allow them to follow you around the house as much.
Which I think is really, really helpful, just to like kind of think small to get the big results. Is really helpful. And I'm gonna just finish up on something around that separation anxiety, because we've got about 3 minutes left before I'm going to get cut off, because the plumber's here and wants to I don't know, fix something and cut off the electricity, which is not helpful when I've decided to go live on Facebook. But hey ho, that's life. The dog's coping very well with it, so that's the result. Something that I realized very recently about separation anxiety, and it's that our dogs, so dogs that are instinctively opportunists, food opportunists, they're also instinctively pack animals, which means they instinctively want to stay with us all the time. That is their instinct.
It's not natural, is it?
It's not natural. So for us to leave is actually for us to not expect almost separation anxiety is actually insane, really. Because
absolutely.
you know, the fact that our dogs, they're designed that way. They're gonna have separation anxiety unless we show them something different. So it's not that I'm suggesting for 1 minute, and I know Kate isn't either, that, you know, that you should not leave your dogs, but just expect that from a very young age we need to teach them a different way than what's instinctive for them. And that's just something to think about as we finish up. There's loads of resources out there for separation anxiety. You know, Kate's got lots of stuff, I've got lots of stuff in the Facebook group. We're going to continue continue with this, you know, these conversations. I've got a program that I've been meaning to talk about every week, every day this week, which I completely forgot, but I actually have a program called Deeper Love. It's only £10 a month. You can come along and talk to myself and others that are in the same situation, having the same experience, about what's going on around things like separation anxiety. I mean, we cover loads of different subjects, but separation anxiety obviously is a big one because it's ongoing. It's something that we need to keep reminding them that it's okay for us to leave. And so, I guess what I'm saying is don't feel alone. There is loads of support out there. And if you're struggling with that, you really don't need to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think that your course of just touching base with you as well, and every month is just it's invaluable.
It's just really helpful. To be honest, as Kate and I were saying earlier, it's actually invaluable for us as coaches, because
definitely.
you know, we need to be reminded we're only human. We don't have perfect dogs. There's in my mind, there's no such thing as a perfect dog, yet they're all absolutely perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Perfectly imperfect.
Perfectly imperfect, exactly. Let's finish on that one. And thank you so much, Kate, for coming
No problem. It's been
along.
lovely.
It's been brilliant chatting to you. Kate and I only just met last week, but I feel that we will meet more and we'll work together more. It's amazing.
No, it's been lovely. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kate. Bye for now. I know
Have a
you've got
lovely day.
a dog. I know you've got a dog to go and collect, so
Yes,
I'll let
I
you go and do
yeah.
that. Thanks a
Bye.
lot.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.